PAL Lighting is a globally distributed line of wirelessly controlled underwater LED lighting and controls for pools, spas, landscapes, water features, and outdoor accent lighting. Our passion is to be able to light up any space, whether it's a pool or spa, an outdoor living area, or anything else in between. The result is the most powerful, reliable, and diverse line of wirelessly controlled lights in the aquatics industry that are fully compatible with today's major pool automation systems. Light up the night with PAL Lighting. Ready to learn more? Visit us on the web today at pallighting.com.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Joe Trusty, and today I'm joined by Laci Davis and Natalie Hood from the Grit Game. They're a relatively new manufacturer rep group that have been receiving an awful lot of buzz. It's a pleasure to have you both with us on the show today.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you for having us. Excited to be here.
So for those who haven't bumped into Laci Davis at one of the big trade shows or manufacturer events, she's usually accompanied by her husband, Johnny. Together, they're very recognizable. In fact, I would think it's a fair statement to say that you can't miss Johnny's pants from across the room. I mean, they've made quite a splash in the industry over the last couple of years. But let's start broad. I mean, can you tell our listeners exactly who the Grit Game is and what motivated you to launch this company?
Yeah, absolutely. The pants definitely made a splash, to your point. At its core, the Grit Game is an international manufacturers rep agency. It's a mouthful, but we're serving manufacturers and pool pros alike. It's also become a bit of a movement. We're helping reshape how this industry thinks about sales, service, and brand growth. So, as far as what motivated us to launch, Johnny and I came from the pool pro side originally. We worked for a company that was hugely successful in e-commerce and one of Pool Corp's largest customers in the country at the time. But the company wasn't ours, right? So after 16 plus years of helping that business thrive, Johnny realized that his true passion wasn't just in building one company. It was going to be helping small to mid-sized companies across the industry grow. And so he put in his 2 weeks notice with no plan in place. And we started with one simple question. What if we built something that truly empowered potential? And that mission became the foundation for everything we do.
So you guys were part of that whole movement of people who made a big transition during the COVID era. Many in the industry describe you as the new kid on the block in the rep firm space. I mean, what's the big advantage of being new, and how does the Grit Game turn that into a strength?
Sure. Yeah. Being new is probably one of our biggest advantages because, we're not locked into old habits, old systems, or old mindsets. We built the Grit Game from the ground up with a lot of intention based off of what we as dealers liked and didn't like when working with our reps at the time. So that means we didn't inherit a broken model. We got to build a better one. And we just talked about, a minute ago outside of this, our hiring strategy, right? So those hires included folks like Gina Harris, who spent 30 plus years between all of the big three in Aquastar. Now she's our VP of Business Development. Gary Thomas joined us after 40 years between distribution and the former owner of Cine Sales, a successful rep agency in the Southeast. So he was one of our most dependable reps to work with when we were dealers. Recently, we brought on the wonderful Natalie Hood here, who oversees our new education initiative. So she was PHTA's Director of Certification and Instructor Relations for 14 years. We also have an award-winning sales manager team. They're active and former committee chairs. And we have an individual average of 24 years of industry experience per team member. So yes, we may be under a logo that's new, but this team is very well seasoned in every way that matters. And we've stacked the deck with veterans who are deeply respected and ready to do the work in a faster, more transparent, more modern way. Right. So we move fast, we over communicate, we build systems, we treat every brand like it's our own because we know we have to earn our reputation every day.
Well, let me ask you a tougher question. I mean, what do you believe sets the Grit Game apart from the traditional manufacturer rep groups in our space?
When we were dealers, right, we worked with reps who operated on the idea that presence equals performance. that just showing up and checking a box is enough. We reject that completely. And I'm not saying that traditional groups, they're all like that, but we saw a lot of it. So we've trained our team that if a manufacturer just wants brochures dropped off, the only warm body they need is the mailman. We didn't hire mailmen. We hired people who genuinely care about the growth of their customers' businesses and people who will ask the right questions, understand the dealer's goals and use every tool at their disposal to help that dealer win, whether it's in a product that we represent, a piece of training, or connection in our network. Our reps are empowered to treat it like their own business. And at the Grit Game, we act like owners, not order takers. So traditional rep firms focus heavily on territories, whereas we focus more on growth. What's the difference? Our job is to grow the brand, period, not just stay in our lane and protect a zip code, right? For example, we once promoted a manufacturer we only represent in a small region, and another group got very upset because dealers in their territory saw our post, even though it could have led to sales that they would have gotten paid for. And that moment made something very clear that too many firms are more focused on turf than they are on the manufacturer's success. And to us, that misses the point. If a manufacturer is paying multiple rep groups to grow their business, then I see those groups as partners, not competition. I've happily collaborated with other firms where we shared lines with, and why not align and make a stronger, more unified push for the brand we're all getting paid to support. So that's what having an entrepreneurial mindset means for us, is thinking beyond the map and focusing on outcomes and treating that manufacturer's business like it's our own. But we're also breaking out of the traditional model entirely. We're working with companies that don't sell physical products, like Line Financial. They offer loans, or Pool Brain, which is a SaaS platform. These aren't manufacturers in a traditional sense, but we're having more and more conversation with companies that have never considered working with reps in the past. But because we have an incredible team meeting with pool pros face to face and a strong digital presence through marketing and education, we're in a really unique position to help brands like these scale to adoption.
That's a good talking point there, specifically because I see you representing a lot of brands that haven't reached out to traditional manufacturer rep groups in the past. I think the way that you represent them and the way you promote those groups on social media is very good. You're working with some new brands that recently entered the pool market. I mean, how important do you feel brand marketing and digital engagement is for a rep firm today? And how do you approach it differently?
It's critical. It's absolutely critical, especially like you said, for new brands trying to break into an already crowded space. So the old model of just walking into a distribution branch or hoping the dealer opens a flyer doesn't really cut it anymore. Pool pros are busy. They may not be in the office, but they're absolutely on social media. And if your product isn't showing up in their feed, it's not showing up in their world. So, yes, we believe brand marketing and digital engagement are a massive part of what makes a rep firm effective today. The difference with the Grit Game is we don't just post for the sake of posting. We're very strategic. Our content is not random. Every piece of content either brings value to our audience, or it reflects what we're hearing from the field, or it shows proof, right? So testimonials, customer photos, reviews, wins. But we also sprinkle in a few random entertainment videos, something that makes someone laugh or stop scrolling. That might be the thing that gets them to pay attention the next time we post something that matters or has a call to action. So we're not trying to go viral, but we are trying to be as valuable as possible. We also do something that I don't think most rep firms are thinking about yet. We write content specifically to train AI. More and more customers, B2B, B2C, are turning to AI before they even talk to a rep. Even Google is giving AI generated answers now. And where does AI get its info, right? So that's the next frontier. Just like SEO mattered 10 years ago, AI trainable content is going to define brand visibility over the next 5 years. And the best part is that model's working. We've had brands with little to no name recognition start getting inbound leads, demo requests, POs, just from awareness we've created online. One of our lines saw 600% growth in their original territory and ended up hiring us to run their more marketing in additional to repping, because they understood that the digital isn't just a nice to have anymore. It's actually a growth engine. And to give a real example of how this plays out, I recently had a high-end pool builder, someone I've never interacted with before, reach out directly and ask, how can I get the grit game to help my business? This is a builder that says he averages $10 million per project, right? So traditionally, it may have taken a rep firm years to get in front of somebody like that, or you need a personal intro to get into a meeting. But this is now happening for us multiple times a week, that level of inbound interest coming in from being socially savvy online, from showing up consistently with content that adds value. It earns that trust and positions us as a team that kind of gets it. We didn't cold call our way into that conversation. We attracted it. And that's the power of modern brand building.
Really wholeheartedly agree with a lot of the points that you said there, specifically as it pertains to, training AI. I mean, that's the next big wave of emerging technology that folks in the pool industry really need to be aware of. Education and certification are certainly also a part of your offering now too. I mean, how do you integrate training into your rep model, and why do you believe folks value that?
This is Natalie's wheelhouse all the way.
So education and certification, they're really now a core part of how we operate because we believe knowledge drives confidence, efficiency, and strong relationships. And we're integrating training into our model in two ways. Internal education. So we are working directly with our manufacturers to create in-depth training programs for our own team. This not only ensures that our team understands the products, but that they represent so they can provide accurate guidance and meaningful support to the pool pro. The second is customer education and certification. So this is going beyond internal training, right? So we've partnered with manufacturers to offer free education and certification opportunities to dealers and distributors. These programs are helping professionals not only understand the product better, but also gain credentials that elevate their expertise and credibility in the field. So this leads to faster understanding for high turn roles like counter staff, allowing 1 hour of time to yield higher ROI because someone who is new, they get up to speed on the product, the understanding, and if they understand it, they're more confident about selling it. This is valuable because when you provide confidence in products, you naturally give people professional growth, which leads to strong partnerships. So education brings loyalty and shows our team and customers that we are invested in their success, not just the purchase. I mean, I kind of want to say that again. We're investing in their success, not just the purchase itself. So now we're taking education even further. We have officially taken over. I'm really excited about this. Wednesdays on the Talking Pools podcast. We are actually listed as the #1 podcast in the industry by feedspot.com. But now episodes that I'm hosting, we're bringing on experts to bust myths around pools, spas, business, marketing, sales, and anything else that really can help pool pros thrive. So my first episode, it actually broke records, which was really exciting for the most streams in the first 72 hours. And my second episode, which launched yesterday, is already trending that same way. So this is just another way that we're extending value to the field, not just through reps, but through education that reaches people wherever they are.
I think that's a good look for you. I mean, Talking Pools is one of my favorite podcasts. I think Rudy and his crew have a great format over there. So you guys being a new addition to their team is going to help elevate that even a little further. Let's talk partnerships for a minute. I mean, can you share some of the brands that you're currently representing and why you chose to work with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of our early partnerships came from manufacturers who knew us in a former life when we were dealers, and they were willing to take a chance on something new when we started this new adventure. So brands like AWG, which is Aqua Comfort Water Group, Coverstar Central, Main Access, PAL Lighting, and API Water, they all already knew how we worked and what Johnny and I stood for and what we were capable of, more or less. So that trust meant a lot, but we still vetted them just like we do everybody else. We only take on brands that we truly believe in, not just the products, but the people behind it. So we look for value added solutions and value aligned leadership because for us, it's never just about whether the product works. It's about how the brand treats the dealers, how they handle problems, how responsive they are, and whether they're going to stand behind what they sell, because their reputation becomes our reputation. So we take it very seriously, especially since, like you said, we're perceived as the new kids on the block. So API Water is actually a perfect example of what we look for in a healthy partnership, because we started with them in one small territory, and within a year, they did trust us with national representation. But why? Because we both operate with a we grow together mindset, where each side sees the other's success as tied directly to their own. If they need something, we make it happen. If we need something, they step up. It's not transactional, it is a mutual commitment. So that's what real partnership looks like. And that's the standard we aim to hold with every brand we represent. Because the flip side of that, we've had relationships where we were given large territories up front, but as soon as we created momentum, that manufacturer tried to pull part of it back where we were the most successful. So that doesn't just hurt kind of team morale, but it sends a message to the reps that growth gets punished. And so we've walked away from more than one manufacturer in all territories when that's happened, because for us, it has to be win-win, right? We want to represent brands we're excited to grow, but who are also equally excited to grow with us. So we've added partnerships also based on where value alignment was just completely undeniable. So these are brands that are solving real industry problems and doing it with tons of integrity. So companies like H2 Flow Controls, we mentioned Lion Financial and Pool Brain. There's Azari Mosaic Tiles, SafeTron, Tin Jam, and most recently Back Bags. They all brought something truly unique to the table that we felt filled a gap for the pool pro. And we believed in their mission, believed in their teams, and we knew we could help make a real impact. So at the end of the day, we choose to do business with people we like, people we trust, and people who care about the pro as much as we do.
Well, let me throw you a little bit of a curveball. I mean, what should brands you're partnering with expect when working with you that they might not be getting from the more traditional rep model?
Yeah, sure. I'd say expect proactive effort from day one. So every new manufacturer we bring on is launched with a formal rollout plan. So it covers CRM and website integration with a full dedicated page on our site, at least 2 sales team training calls, line card inclusion, the creation of a custom sales guide for our team. So there's a consistent guide on how that brand prefers to be positioned and a point of reference for common questions and details. It also includes written press releases, social content, a first quarter automatic feature in the Grit Print, which is our new digital catalog. So there's also an expectation that education will be a part of the relationship, right? So manufacturers aren't just getting a sales channel, they're getting a team that makes education a part of the relationship. We go way beyond product specs to teach industry trends, real world applications, ongoing best practices, but it's about building confidence, not just closing deals. So those who value this kind of offering, we have course creation available that would allow their customers to get certified in their products. We also do something a little differently with they can expect cross-territory collaboration. What I mean by that is we operate in one team here at the Grit Game, not just, this is the Florida team, this is the Midwest team, but we share insights and success stories and challenges across all regions so that we're all learning and improving together. And we lean on the strengths of the team as a whole. We even have national subject matter experts on call, regardless of where the state lines are. But I think what really sets us apart and shocks most of the manufacturers we start conversations with is that they can expect us to put our money where our mouth is, in that we reinvest 10% of the commissions we get from them back into promoting that brand. So we use those funds at our discretion to strategically support campaigns, content, or tools that we believe will drive results. And so bottom line is, if we take on a line, we're all in, because we only win when they do.
Well, a lot of folks have asked me over the years, who's the best rep group to work with? Who do you think our brand should get to represent us? And I've had different answers over the years, because that is a constantly shifting thing. I mean, it really boils down to what their criteria is. But I'd be interested from learning from you. I mean, what do you feel that a manufacturer, what should their top 3 criteria be when selecting a partner to work with?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's important. Number one, hands down, if you only have to choose one thing, take this one to the bank, is the existing synergy. So not every rep group publicly shares the full list of lines they represent, but if you're considering hiring them, you should ask for that. One, there's a big difference in how much airtime you're likely to get with a group that has 15 supported lines versus 40 supported lines. But two, and even more importantly, what you really want to know is if there's existing synergy between their current brands and your brand as the manufacturer. That's how you find out if they're already talking, one, to your ideal customer, and two, how your product might get pulled into those conversations more often naturally. So the more aligned a rep group's lines are, the more bundled sales opportunities you'll see. For example, we represent H2 Flow Control and CoverStar Central. Totally different products, but they complement each other perfectly because a pool with an auto cover needs consistent water levels to protect that cover and the equipment. So when we sell CoverStar, when we offer that, we automatically pitch the H2 Flow Level Smart because it's genuinely a better outcome for the pool pro and the homeowner and more value for both manufacturers. So that's what synergy looks like. Also consider the specialties within that rep group's team. So if your product is ideal for above ground pools, it makes sense to partner with a group that already reps an above ground pool brands. They're already speaking that language to those existing buyers. So number one has to be the group's existing synergy. Two, you want the full team's buy-in on your brand. It's one thing for the head of the firm to seem excited, but if the team on the street doesn't care, it's not going to move. So you want the full team buy-in. The reps in the field need to believe in your product, understand the value it brings, and want to talk about it. That only happens when the rep firm has a solid onboarding process and chooses lines that actually align with the team's expertise and passions. I'd say if there's going to be a third one to consider, the complementary strengths would be one to think about. Look at where you're strong and where you're not as a manufacturer, and then choose a firm that helps fill in the gaps, right? You're probably not going to find one firm that fits every single bucket, but we all have our different strengths. So if you're great at in-house marketing, but need stronger field support, choose a group with more boots on the ground. If your tech stack is solid, but your training needs work, you may want to look for a team with proven education programs. And so the point in that is in-person sales are just one piece of today's puzzle, and a great rep firm should bring added value in areas that you need most, not just duplicate what you already have.
You guys came out of the gate very strong. Folks are definitely beginning to notice that there's something different about this group. What does the next few years look like for the Grit Game? I mean, what are some of the milestones that you're personally hoping to achieve?
So yeah, we built fast, but it was intentionally. So now we're focused on scale and sustainability, not just staying ahead of where the industry is going, but being one of the driving forces behind that new direction that we want to see. So we are, I think, first and foremost, I'm on a personal mission to change the way that the industry sees reps. We want pool pros to see their rep as their most trusted ally because they know that person is there to support their business, not just push a line. My goal is when a Grit Game rep recommends a product, that dealer should feel 100% confident that they'll be supported, trained, backed up every step of the way. And honestly, we want to bring the party back to the pool party a little bit. We deliver high value, yeah, but also high energy. And we want to be the team that pros are genuinely happy to see walk in the door. We know their name, we know their business, and we're going to show up with solutions to help them win, but we're going to really be happy to be there at the end of the day. In terms of milestones, we've already passed some pretty big ones. We're less than 3 years old, but in 2025, we plan to bring on 4 to 6 new team members, and we ended up hiring 13. It's kind of like, what was that one movie? You think we need another one? The Ocean's 11, right? You think we need another one. All right, we'll get another one, right? We just constantly add more team members. But so in less than 3 years, we're at over 30 team members. We're not slowing down. We have no intention to slow down. We're continually focused on building high performing team that moves fast. They execute with consistency and protects both manufacturer and dealer experiences as we grow by doing it that way. So because of that, we're building systems, not just relying on individual talent. We have campaign models, onboarding flows, training tools, supported resources, things that help our partners scale faster and help our reps serve better. So that's how we keep our standard high no matter how big this gets. 2026, our big push is going to be education and content. We're asking, Natalie's really excited about it. We're asking, how do we give more? How do we empower more potential across the industry? How do we help more people and businesses actually thrive? Right. So we're building the platforms and programs to do exactly that, especially for dealers who want to level up their business and manufacturers who need better tools to train and support the field. Another major focus is growing our work with non-traditional partners, brands that have probably, like we said, never considered working with a rep group before, but still need to connect more with the pool pro in a real way. We're already seeing some really strong traction here. And, we hope to announce another partnership in this category within the week. One of those people are going to be like, I never would have thought, right? Moments that proves just kind of how far a rep model can stretch when it's being done a little bit differently. I'd say finally on my end is, we're building a company that people are proud to work for, that they're proud to be on this team. And we're being, they're all in, they're creative, and their commitment is just a part of the culture. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of wild to look at, but one of our newer team members a few months into the job, to the role, got the full Grit Game logo tattooed down his entire forearm. This was not, it was like the whole forearm.
Yeah, the whole thing.
The whole thing. And, that says everything about the energy here. And while that's not expected, I don't expect Natalie to get a tattoo anytime soon. We do want to continue to earn that level of belief in what we're building. So our mission to empower potential, yeah, it's the pool pro, yeah, it's the distributor, it's the manufacturers, but it's also the team and the individual team members. And I think that's a part of our spark that we can't lose if we want to be successful.
Well, definitely appreciate you taking time out of your day, Laci, Natalie, to connect with us and share your story and talk a little bit about what separates you and differentiates you from a lot of the other folks in the industry. Really great conversation and great getting a chance to connect with you today.
Thanks for having us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us and allowing us to kind of share the excitement. And, as Laci said, we have something hopefully that we'll be able to share soon that I think it's going to be kind of a shock to the industry, but it's going to be fun. And I think it's going to, make waves, and it's really going to change how people look at what we're doing.
That's our time for today. Make sure to like, share, follow, and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast.
PAL Lighting is a globally distributed line of wirelessly controlled underwater LED lighting and controls for pools, spas, landscapes, water features, and outdoor accent lighting. Our passion is to be able to light up any space, whether it's a pool or spa, an outdoor living area, or anything else in between. The result is the most powerful, reliable, and diverse line of wirelessly controlled lights in the aquatics industry that are fully compatible with today's major pool automation systems. Light up the night with PAL Lighting. Ready to learn more? Visit us on the web today at pallighting.com.